All right.
The eye to eye you finally found is ruining my day. And all I got is open time, so I'm parking far away. I know the bricks and the logo on your sleeping shirt, you just learned your middle name. I'd live last year for a second time, but I'm thinking you're ashamed.
So in this video, we're gonna go over exactly how we were able to make the lots buildable. So in the last video, we were talking about the lots that we bought. We bought the big lot, not knowing if we're gonna be able to develop on it because it was deemed unbuildable. And then we were able to buy a second lot that would provide access water. And in this video, we're gonna go over kind of how we use those two lots.
We had one route we were kind of set on doing because we were initially trying to build a home on the front piece and build our cabin, sell the front one off, and use that money to pay off or down our cabin.
I'll expand on that a little bit.
Okay.
So the access lot was part of an HOA, and it had a water system that it was part of, so it had a water share. We could have combined the two lots into one and used the water share from the small lot to put a cabin on the big lot because they'd essentially be one lot and they would already have a water share because they were part of the HOA. But we wanted to have a well because we didn't want to be part of the community, the HOA. We didn't want to have restrictions on our property. So we really wanted to see through the well route for two reasons. Because we wanted to have a well and we didn't want to be a part of the HOA, and because we wanted to use the well only for the big lot, use the water share for the small lot, because we wanted to build a house on each and sell the small lot off to pay for the big one. So what did we do?
Well, we talked to our neighbor to see if we could get the well radius to overlap onto his property.
We needed to find a way for our 100-foot well radius to overlap one of the neighboring parcels because it wasn't, our lot alone wasn't big enough to handle that radius.
The part of his property we were asking for was pretty much useless to him, but he declined it and didn't feel comfortable with that.
The different restrictions that come with the radius going over your property, it basically boils down to you can't have a drain field in that area, can't have a reserve drain field in that area, can't store pesticides, can't have chicken coops, stuff that's going to pollute the groundwater.
Which he wouldn't have had anyways, but it's fine. We figured out a different route.
We asked him, he said no. At that same time, we were newly owners of the property, and there was another neighbor who had contacted our real estate agent to try to get in touch with us because he knew we just bought the property. And he had concerns because there were some big trees on our lot that were swaying and stuff, and he was worried that they were going to fall onto his house. So we met him on site to look at the trees and everything, and
fell in love.
Joe's his name, and he is just the best neighbor. He's always been super helpful, and he's a super funny guy. He needed that help from us, and in the meantime, while we were talking, we're like, hey, we'll get these trees taken care of. And we also talked about a trail.
He wanted to use our woods and make a trail and walk it.
And so we had agreed, the first deal that we struck was to, in exchange for removing our trees that were going to fall on his house and a trail for him to walk through our 5 acres of woods, he was going to allow our radius to overlap his lot, which meant that we had to move his drain field reserve outside of our well radius and onto our access lot. This is a map of the first deal that we had come up with, where it shows Joe's house, his drain field, and then his reserve area, and then how our well radius will overlap his reserve. So that can't happen. The reserve has to be moved, right? So then you go over to the access lot, you can show us moving his reserve onto our lot outside of the radius, and it shows that there's still enough room for a house on the front and those septic drain fields as well. And it shows our access road down the middle there. So that was the first deal. He agreed to it, and it was...
We had the attorneys write up all the paperwork, like we were ready to go.
We had a survey done.
We had
We had a designer come up with a design that worked. He approved it. had a septic designer come up with stuff too, had it written up by attorneys, had it all ready to go. That took about a year.
Yeah. Took down a bunch of trees.
Took down the trees for him.
Which is fine.
And we put the road in the middle, which is closer to his house, because he didn't want the house that we were going to build next to his. That was another part of the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to put the road closer to his lot rather than the house, because it could have been on either end.
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with this deal. We all agreed. And then comes time, we were on vacation. And
was it Thanksgiving?
yeah, it was Thanksgiving. And it was the day before Thanksgiving. And he calls and he's like, I can't do it, Jordan. I'm sorry. I can't do it. He's like, my real estate agent, my boss, he's a builder. He's like, they just convinced me, they convinced him to not do it because we thought it was all just kind of a paperwork deal. Okay, who cares? It's a reserve over here rather than over here. It makes no difference in reality. But he was worried that it was gonna
affect his property value.
Yeah, and make it harder for him to sell his house in the future because it kind of complicates his title and stuff like that a little.
So anyways, that was out. So we were just like, oh man, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, it was dead.
You know,
it was
I
dead
guess
in the water.
we'll just use the water share and let's just wait. Let's just marinate on this for a couple months.
Because it looked like no well.
Yeah, it looked like
Could
no well.
could
so it looked
happen
like we were going to
because-
be a part of the HOA, which we didn't want to be a part of.
We still could build a house, but it wouldn't have
yeah.
been as, you know.
There would have been restrictions. We wouldn't have been able to have chickens or to do an Airbnb or build, you know, like multiple tree houses like we want to do.
It's true. No, they had
So-
regulations on, you know, all sorts of stuff. And
that would
we
just
didn't-
squash our dreams. We
Yeah.
have like a vision here. So
Well, and we just wanted to be free. We don't want to have to go through another entity
yeah.
for permission. We were just basically back and forth like, the well's done.
Yeah, we'd taken
But
all
what are we
this
gonna do?
time and energy and money, and looked like we were getting close to like starting, and then this happened, so we were just kind of a little deflated.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just like, whatever, let's just give ourselves a mental break because it was a lot
Yeah.
of organizing and paperwork and all that stuff. So,
Took a while.
but then out of nowhere, Joe called.
So he called me and was like, I'm really sorry about all that, you know. What do you think about me buying the lot from you? Because it's right next door. It would double his lot size and give him that room for the shop that he wanted to build. And he said, in exchange, I'll buy it from you, but I'll allow you to move the reserve ahead of time. And that will allow you to get your well. So it was like, so we were thinking, okay,
So no second house.
nope. So yeah, here's the new deal. This is the second deal. So the first one was dead. The second deal was Joe buys the lot from us, but first we get our well approved. The well site has to be approved so we know that that thing's got water. Because if we were to sell that to Joe ahead of time and the well didn't get approved for some reason, we would have lost our water share.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure to get that done. So the deal was get the well site approved, get the reserve moved, because those were the two things that were needed. So we had our attorneys write up everything again, and this took some time, and we were both anxious to get a deal done.
There was pressure on both sides because
Definitely.
we were nervous to sign in
Mhm.
case the well wasn't approved. They were nervous to sign.
Because they didn't
in
want to
case-
move their drain field and then have us bail, because we could have
Yeah.
bailed at the last minute. Either of us could have bailed at the last minute. But we had a gentleman's agreement. We had paperwork written up actually and signed, but it still could have gone either way.
Yeah, because we really didn't know each other.
No, I talked to Joe quite a bit.
You talked to Joe.
But we
quite a
only
bit.
met him. We probably only met him like 3 times, I think.
Like at the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the map of the second deal. You can see the well, 100-foot radius. Joe's reserve moved onto our property. The access road is moved to the other side of the property, which is more in line with our cabin anyways.
Which gives us 30 feet.
Yep, it's a
which
30-foot
is, like,
wide access easement.
perfect.
Plenty of room. We put a 12-foot road in, so we have 9-foot areas on each end, and then a 12-foot road down the middle. And also you can see that he has a shop, the ability to build a shop. His lot is basically twice as wide. We
Yeah.
recoup some of our money because he did buy it from us at a reduced rate. I mean, we gave him
Yeah.
we gave him a pretty good deal. Because he was losing some usability of it. But the deal was good for everybody, and
We were happy with it. We just wanted to move on to this process. So it was like, whatever. We're gonna be neighbors forever.
Yeah.
Hopefully, don't sell Joe.
Yeah.
Patricia.
It was a good deal for everyone. Everyone's happy. We still get to build our cabin. We don't have to have we don't have to be part of an HOA. He doubled the size of his lot. And we're good neighbors, like we're good friends now, and it's just a good deal for everybody.
Yeah.
So basically that's it. That's how we took an unbuildable piece of waterfront property and turned it into a fully buildable site for a fraction of the market value.
The next step will be the architectural design of the buildings, permitting through the county, and then after that we'll be clearing the land, installing power, and drilling our well. So like this video and subscribe to our channel to follow our progress.
And we can't stay this way.